First, I would like to share a statement from OCA New York, the lead advocacy organization that is seeking justice for Private Danny Chen. They have submitted a statement for the record, and Private Danny Chen was the person I talked about earlier, the 19-year-old Chinese-American soldier from Manhattan's Chinatown who was found dead in Afghanistan as a result of suicide, and who was subjected to 6 weeks of racial taunting, humiliation, physical assaults, and excessive exercise. 8 soldiers have been charged in connection with his death, with charges ranging from dereliction of duty to negligent homicide. Just a couple of excerpts from the statement. As a local boy, Danny is our son, nephew, friend, classmate, neighbor, and resident. Our community has been shaken, angered, and hurt by his death. For centuries, the Asian American community has struggled to integrate into America. Enlisting in the military is the greatest sacrifice one can make for one's country. To be mistreated this way by his fellow American soldiers is a disgrace. Members of our community want to serve our country, but greater protections are needed to ensure our young men and women will be protected from this inexcusable harm and mistreatment. Yang Tao and Su Shen Chen, the parents of Danny Chen, would like members of the committee to know, quote, when we learned Danny died, we thought he was killed in combat. To learn he died in this way at the hands of his fellow soldiers is an unbearable suffering. Danny was our only child. His death occurred before the holidays, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and particularly Chinese New Year's celebrations become a time of mourning with the 2 of us at home alone. Every time we see or eat Danny's favorite food, it is a constant reminder of Danny, and tears just instantly drop from our eyes. Please do something so no other family will have to endure the suffering we will feel for the rest of our lives. Unquote. General Takuba, you did talk about instances of bullying or hazing, and I wanted for you to elaborate on it. How constant was it, and could you explain it in more detail?
Yes, ma'am. As a lieutenant, and even before that, as an editor, it was constant. Even at Hawaii, it was a constant, you might say, case for me of being bullied. My son and daughters were also bullied in the high schools. There is some hazing. Hazing, to me, is such a controversial term, I say. You know, it's either good or it's either bad. So that's the reason why I say you expunge it, because it does have a negative connotation. I've experienced in my own unit where enlisted soldiers have come to me about the blood pain or being doused with water after promotion and things of that nature. I made it perfectly clear to my battalion commanders at the time that it would reflect on their officer efficiency report, not maintaining a positive and healthy command conduct. That's not what it's all about. Whatever they learned in West Point, because I saw the battalion commanders who were West Point veterans, that we don't do that here. It was all about respect and dignity. We learned in 1995 that we had those massive sexual assaults that happened in the Philippines. I don't know if all of you remember that. It became a national sensation in my 7 negative side. So the Army Chief of Staff, General Dennis Weimer, instituted what he called the Considerations of Others program. That was measured because that was required in Army Regulation 250-1 that you will have a program called Consideration of Others done at the unit level on a semi-annual basis. We've kind of somewhat distanced ourselves on it. And it's a great program. It's about making sure that you treat your soldiers with respect and dignity. Bullying can stop. Only if the commanders are ever vigilant in making sure that he or she walks around during the times when soldiers have a habit of misbehaving. In Korea, troops, commanders and their senior NCOs were required to walk around the town outside the gates to ensure that their soldiers are behaving properly when engaging with the South Korean population. There's ways to do it. And, it's intolerable. Whether you're doing it on a motor pool or you're doing it on a promotion and like. The way to do that is setting the tone. Commanders must set the tone. When they command, set the tone. These are the do's and don'ts. And make sure the leaders understand that clearly. And the soldiers can trust their chain of command. When they complain for equal opportunity or wanting to see the company commander on an open door policy, which is a requirement, it's a signed policy that says a soldier can see their commander on an open door policy. That soldier has to go to their chain to ask permission to see the company commander. That's not what that memo was intended to do. So I would submit to you that Jen probably would not see his company commander because I was told he was about 12 miles away. Now, what could have prevented him from seeing his company commander? I'm not sure. But he was prevented because he could not share his story. Or anybody else for that matter in that unit.
Ever since the hazing death of my nephew, I've been struck by how widespread and entrenched the attitude is in the military that teasing, hazing, and bullying is a necessary part of military life. And the reaction to the hazing death of my nephew has been night and day with regard to the mainstream community versus the military. In the mainstream community, people are absolutely horrified that such a thing could happen. That's like Lord of the Flies, where peers are just allowed to assault other peers, and that is totally accepted. But in the military, it seems that almost to a person, the reaction of soldiers is that this is absolutely necessary in order to toughen up people. Otherwise, we can't fight a war. That this is part and parcel of being strong soldiers, and you better take this no matter what's coming your way. Is it necessary to accept hazing and bullying in order to have strong military?
Council, and I'll give you my comments and then ask General Taguba and Bernice if they can offer theirs. To me, the answer is absolutely not. It is not necessary. There's this, I don't know whether the idea came from that you need to be past this right of manhood, if you will. No gender comment there. Past this manhood test to prove that you are worthy to be in combat or worthy even to serve. I think that's an old terminology. It's misogynist. It's ancient. It's something that to me is not worthy of a good leader. And the best way to get rid of that idea is to tone from the top, as General Taguba mentioned, to make sure the leaders express to people and express today to their people that you're not a real man, quote unquote. You're not a real leader. If that's the way you have to prove yourself. To me, the answer is absolutely not. It's not necessary.
And if I may address the question, it's definitely not necessary. What's necessary is the honor and commitment that we have to protect each other's backs, to watch out for each other, and not treat each other in a way that we wouldn't accept from anyone else treating each other that way. The accountability and that leadership from the top. You know, there's military sexual trauma with women. When something happens, many times the woman is moved out of the unit, and she's the one that ends up getting penalized when, look at the military service members that were involved in some of these hazing incidents where some didn't answer at all and others got a month. So how do we get our leadership to really take a hard look at this and say, how do we make people accountable? Because when people aren't held accountable, then other folks don't want to step up. You're complaining, you're whining, it's seen as being weak, and it's just proliferated. So, and I know I'm a young person. I don't know how many dues I have to pay, but if I can be a part of the solution and be on the military, the commission, I throw my hat in the ring because this is really serious.
As I mentioned in my remarks, teamwork, superior court, and discipline are all positive terms. There's no room for hazing. There's no room for harassment. As a company commander, all the way up, we had 3 memorandums that was posted on the bulletin board, which is the open door policy, equal opportunity, and intolerance towards sexual harassment. So, you have to discuss that. I served with a battalion commander many years ago who would put soldiers who committed misconduct or misbehavior or DUI in front of the entire battalion just to show who that perpetrator was. And that was very demeaning and affected morale. You have to be sure that the commander is also the morale officer. He's also the chief diversity officer. He's also the equal opportunity officer. He's also the chief no sexual harassment in the unit officer. He's all of the above. He's also the ethics officer. If he's not taught and mentored by his superiors or somebody that saw him going through the process of commanding, then he should be eliminated from that command. General Dempsey coined the term of getting rid of toxic leaders. We had toxic leaders. We had toxic generals.